And we are live. Welcome to the process. It is Monday, January 16th. I am Josh Engleman, here to break down, a different size slate depending on which site you play on. It's 5 games on DraftKings. It's 7 games on FanDuel. It's MLK. We've got day basketball. Lock is either at 2:30 or 3 o'clock, depending on which site you're playing on. So we got nothing coming up later tonight. This is just going to be a little bit different than it normally is. So our schedule for today, and when I say our, I mean Stokastic.com, is going to be pretty normal until we get to the games. So you're getting this. Contenders videos will be out early. Strategy show at 10 o'clock. But we're coming right back pretty quickly and doing deeper dive live before lock. I'll be on live before lock today with Eric from 2 o'clock until 3:30. You'll get Adam and Greg on the deeper dive from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We didn't think that it made a lot of sense for myself and Adam to run that show back twice within like 2 hours. So we're basically just going to be creating NBA content for today's slate from now until 3:30. There's just going to be a lot of it, so buckle up for it. It's going to be exciting. Now, Kyle, DraftKings is doing this better than FanDuel is. There's no reason. So FanDuel is including the 2:30 start, but then also including the 6 o'clock game. It's much easier for DK. Now, if you would, I think it might make some more sense if DraftKings included the 2:30 start. I like the idea of dropping the 6 p.m. game, though. I prefer that. I don't mind. If they would have taken the 2:30 game, that would have been fine. But I like the clean 5-gamer, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4. That's a good slate on the DK end. But for now, for me, I'm going to be talking about all 7 games that are going to be a part of the FanDuel slate. So we're not going to touch on the actual first game that tips off at 1. And I'm not going to touch on whatever that 10 o'clock game is that I don't even remember. So, yeah, Larry, that's the good one right there. I think you can make the case for the 2:30 game being included. I don't have any case to include the 6. Hope you guys had some fun this weekend. I had a pretty good weekend. Got to see a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a bit on Saturday. Got to hang out, have some cocktails, which was a good time. Liverpool, unfortunately, got bludgeoned. That part wasn't fun. And then yesterday, hung out with the wife. It was nice. Just some chill time. So I'm feeling pretty relaxed. I did not want to get out of bed today. I'm not going to lie. I was very comfortable. But, we'll be all right. I think we just need to get into it. I know that I want to drink some coffee. Holding out on that is so hard. This is like the only time that I show willpower in my entire life. So let's do this. 47 people in here right now. Hit that like button if you haven't done it already. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. It's time to get this bad boy started. So I got my coffee. This is going to be I know it's going to be the perfect temperature. This is going to put me in a really good mood. So I've got my coffee. I hope you guys have a coffee as well, so you can join me for this cheers. If you don't, if you got a water or a tea, however you're starting your day today, because I know it's very early, we'll all do it together. Rise and grind, everybody. You know the banner. It's there all the time. Cheers to you guys. Let's start off this work week strong. Thanks, MLK. Yeah, I was right. It's great. It is fantastic. Perfect. Alrighty. Let's get started. Before we do, though, BetMGM is the sponsor. You see it on the banner at the top and the banner at the bottom. If you're interested in 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum and up to $1,000 in bonus bets. It's a pretty good deal. We'll talk about it in a little bit when we start running some crunches. But for now, we shall get into game number 1, Indiana Pacers in Milwaukee. Ross K. It's not that Darius Miles. Just in case that's what you think. Different Darius Miles. Well, I mean, I guess technically he is Darius Miles, but it's not the Darius Miles that was in the NBA. Sheets, good to see you. Glad to have you here. All right, let's move this stuff around. Let's get this started. Brain's not firing the way that I wanted to, but that's what happens when you don't have any coffee. You know, it's just not as good. Yes, a completely different Darius Miles. It's a crazy news story no matter what, but it's not the Darius Miles that was in the NBA back in the day from the Jailblazers and the Clips. So, yeah. Okay. Indiana Pacers are massive dogs, 10.5-point dogs in Milwaukee, 227 total. Unfortunately for the Pacers, they are still without Tyrese Halliburton and will be for a while. Q tag on Miles Turner, Q tag on Goga Bitadze. We actually haven't had Miles Turner for the past 3 games for back spasms. Now, we have to assume that he's playing basically every time that he can, but for now, it matters. It matters. So, I don't really think that I have major changes here. You know, we've seen TJ McConnell's minutes not change. You know, Saturday's game wasn't great for Indy. You know, they got absolutely bludgeoned by Memphis. But let's try to get this rotation locked down. I'm assuming Turner starts. I'm assuming Jalen Smith goes back to being his backup center. We'll find out if that's not the case in a bit. Yeah, Miles has been in trade talks for like 4 years, but I think they're more likely to extend him than trade him at this point. I don't think that I have anything that I want to change here for minutes. 34 for Nembhard works for me. 33 for Hield works for me. I think 30 for Mathurin works. I don't really see a change that I want to make here. Nesmith in for 29 could be a tad high, but assuming everybody's back, I just kind of picture him going right back to the same role that he had been playing. Maybe I'm a minute too high, but nothing crazy. So I'm gonna go to 28 there. Yeah, I think I feel okay there. I'm throwing placeholder minutes on Travell and Queen, but I think if Turner's back, like we just see this normalize again. Yeah, I'm comfortable here. I don't know how good they're going to look either, because it's a 227 total, and they're the 10.5-point underdogs. They're going to have either them or the Pelicans are going to have the lowest implied total on today's slate. All right, so we'll go to the Milwaukee end of this one. And for the Bucks, we got Drew Holiday in. We got Giannis in. We've got Bobby Portis in. Middleton's probably another game away. And then Joe Ingles isn't going to be playing today. So it's really just the Ingles piece. I didn't have Giannis in for the last game, so we do have to rebuild this Milwaukee rotation. This will not be difficult. We straight away get Drew Holiday in. I see no way to project him for anything other than either 33 or 34. Since they're 10-point favorites, I'm going to chip a minute off. We'll get Pat Connaughton in for. Man, he was starting to play bigger minutes in general. I'm going to say 28 here for Connaughton. We get Brook Lopez, obviously, just straight away in for his 30, 31. We'll go 30. Get Portis as the backup. Grab him another 6. We get Giannis in for his 33. Grayson Allen goes in for, he's probably pretty consistently at like 26. Say what now? Roland? Okay, Javon Carter is like a 23-minute a game guy. That part's pretty easy. I'll go 22 for right now just because that was an easier number to type in. So we need to get playing time to Jordan Nwora, probably Beauchamp. Maybe not Jordan Nwora. Maybe AJ Green and Beauchamp. I assume AJ Green's available. He is. All right, so let's get Beauchamp in for 18. I think that's going to allow me to get Jordan Nwora still in there for some playing time. Maybe I split that with Green. Yeah, that seems easier. I don't think it's going to matter too much. We do have to grab rates, unfortunately, for this Bucks team. It's almost like it matters when Giannis is there. So let's grab rates. Games where Jrue Holiday starts, Giannis starts. I'm going to say Brook Lopez starts. We just get like that 3-man band, and Chris Middleton isn't on the floor. I hope he can get back to being okay. Like, obviously, I was very significantly a Chris Middleton guy and still am, but they're not winning anything if he can't be healthy. So I really hope that he's healthy. It's not fun. Seeing teams not be at full strength is really not fun. All right, Jrue Holiday. So far this season, 770 minutes, 25.5% usage rate. Giannis, 758 minutes with this scenario, 36% usage rate. Brook Lopez is at 17.5. Bump that up to 18. Bobby Portis is at 20.25. Make that 20.5. Grab assist rates. These I don't expect to change all that much. Giannis comes down a hair. Nothing too crazy. Brook Lopez doesn't get assists. Bobby Portis doesn't get assists. So final thing is rebounds. This one actually does matter. Giannis gets a ton of them. Jrue Holiday doesn't. Brook Lopez is fantastic at boxing out. And Bobby Portis actually has a pretty sizable rebounding rate because he's just playing alongside Giannis less. Helms, that's not a thing. That only happens when the deal is made. It's not like a thing you just turn on and off. Andrew, I'm doing the 7 games. FanDuel's got 7 today. Which is, great. Okay, so FanDuel for the Bucks. I'd be happy to get to Jrue Holiday for 8K. I don't have a problem at all going to Giannis for 11.3 either. Excuse me. Brook Lopez is fine at 6,600. You don't have to look it up. I promise you. There's no such thing as like waiving your no trade clause just in the middle of things. They have to ask him for any deal. He's not waiving shit until they bring him paperwork. Indy side. Anything good on the Indiana Pacers side? Okay, so Nembhard for 5,700 is just going to look a lot better. Healed, Mathurin, Turner, all kind of the same. No major priorities here coming from game number 1 on FanDuel. So let's get rid of it. Now we're talking games that also are on the DraftKings slate. That would be the New Orleans Pelicans, 6.5-point dogs in Cleveland. 222 total. For New Orleans, still no Ingram, still no Zion. Q tag on Herb Jones. This all feels pretty familiar. Herb didn't play Friday. Have to assume he's in. I already have him projected in. I also have this game already projected the way that I would expect it to play out. I got 32 minutes in for Najee Marshall. I've got 35 minutes in for CJ. 28 for Trey Murphy. I guess I can make that 29. But I don't have rates to change for this. This is just, the Pelicans are done. Assuming Herb Jones is in, and even if he's out, we're going to bump up Dyson Daniels. We bump up, like Devontae Graham a couple extra minutes. It really fills itself out. And it's a terrible spot against Cleveland to begin with. Obviously, Cleveland's defense is very good. They run the two bigs. Everybody for Cleveland is now healthy except for Dean Wade, who should be working his way back. Hopefully he can get back and get himself reintegrated. I think Dean Wade really fits this team well. 41% three-point shooter this year is just what they need for floor spacing. Doesn't require the ball at all. It's what they want Isaac Okoro to be, basically. Doesn't create anything for himself, but you need that if you're going to have Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell out there. So I don't actually think that I have much to change for the Cleveland side here either. They don't really deviate too much. We've got Ricky Rubio back now, but he is going to take a while to ramp up. And there's no incentive to take that or to rush that. I got Garland in for 35 minutes. I've got Mitchell in for 36. I probably need to bump Karis LeVert up a little bit more at the expense of maybe Isaac Okoro. Whatever gets me no Isaac Okoro would also be better. So there's 29 minutes for LeVert. I feel pretty comfortable there. I don't have rates to change because I have this team in here at full strength. 33 minutes for Allen, 33 minutes for Mobley. That all feels about right. Maybe it should be 32 and 32, and that's the easier place to find those extra minutes. But I feel good here. So I think this game is done. Yeah, Helms, that's not the same thing. January 15th is a date based on signing contracts. It has to do with when types of contracts and when they were signed. So generally speaking, December 15th is a big date. That's the first day that you're basically never going to see any trades. It's really hard to see trades before December 15th. Just December 15th in the league year is the first time that guys that were signed to contracts from the previous season can be traded, which ends up being half the league. So that December 15th is a date that is generally pretty important. January 15th then is a follow-up date, and I can't remember what the extra term for the January 15th one is. But there's a couple trigger points in the league calendar like that. Okay, Cleveland looks really good. If you think that Jared Allen is playing 33 minutes today, and there's no reason to suspect that he wouldn't be, 5,900 on DraftKings looks really good. I think Evan Mobley looks pretty solid as well. He's not the same per minute guy as Allen, but he also buys the flexibility of power forward. And then $7,500 Darius Garland to me looks really good here against the Pels. I think the big four of New Orleans look solid. Garland and Jared Allen would be my priorities. Okay. The January 15th date it's the same cutoff as the December 15th date, only there's an extra month because those players took at least 20% raises or they were signed using bird rights. That's the 15th one. So, like, I'm interested to see if DeAndre Ayton is somehow going to be shopped, but we'll see. All right, on the Pelicans side, for New Orleans, nothing looks good, and I don't think it's really going to matter if Herb is in or not. The CJ price is climbing now. Najee Marshall's still okay, but this isn't a team that's got a lot of good, like, per minute performers. I don't really have a ton of interest here in anything from the Pelicans. It's not good. So we'll go to game 3. Toronto Raptors. Wow, this is going to be 2 starting lineups playing 40 minutes apiece. Raptors 3-point dogs in New York, 224 total. Q tag on Fred VanVleet. Otherwise, everybody's in. I'm clearly not making any real changes to this rotation. I've got VanVleet in for 35 minutes. That works for me. I got Siakam in for 37. I'm going to make OG be in there for 36. You know, they're playing everybody. Boucher, Koloko, Achua. You know, I got Barnes in for 33. I think there's a case to be made that should be 34. That'll probably just make me get all of the Scotty Barnes. Not that I mind. Yeah, I don't really have anything else I want to move around here. I guess I could take a couple minutes off of Koloko and bump up Boucher just in case. Rates all stay the same. You know, if we get Fred VanVleet out, that'll be interesting for Toronto. For right now, we know exactly how we need to project the Raptors. And for the New York Knicks, everybody's in. I think we know exactly how to project the New York Knicks as well. I've got Jalen Brunson in for... I mean, he's been playing 40 minutes a night. I got to take him up to 38 at a minimum. Now, I'm going 39 on Brunson. I don't think we have a choice. Quickly actually closed over RJ Barrett on Sunday. And you can do that when you play the Pistons, but something to keep in mind, they're cutting Miles McBride's minutes. Tibbs is just yanking these minutes down. Mitchell Robinson, I feel pretty good at 32 minutes. I don't really see a scenario where I could go a different direction there. Randall's playing 39 tonight, so I got him in for 38. Toppin as the backup. I got 37 in for Barrett. I think I have to stick with that. 34 for Grimes. I think I have to stick with that. But for Quickly, I mean, he's played at least 26. I think I got to take a couple. I think I got to get Quickly up to. I mean, maybe they can't go as small here against the Raptors. But I'm going to take Quickly up to 27 minutes and take 2 more off of Miles McBride. Rates all stay the same. This game's easy to project. Let's see what... Wow, yeah, it looks good. Okay. So, as per usual, Mitchell Robinson looks like a fantastic option. He's a fantasy point per minute guy that plays anywhere between 30 and 36 minutes. Like, that's massive. Especially for a guy with his sort of block rates where he can tack on a lot of stats and still just sort of sleepwalk a double-double. I think he still looks good for 6,300 on FanDuel. The next two priorities, I think RJ Barrett for 6,900 and Jalen Brunson for 8,500 would be basically equal to me on DK, at least relative to salary. But I want to get to Brunson because he's just playing a ton. I don't mind getting to Randall either, or Quentin Grimes. Randall's just power forward eligible on DraftKings. He's power forward center on FanDuel. Continues to look good there. It's just always interesting to get to the Knicks. Quickly's probably a bit too expensive. He's, you're only getting to him in like 2-3% of lineups. But look, if you can get 30 minutes plus out of Quickly, that's good. It's just the more minutes you're getting for Quickly alongside Randall and Brunson, it doesn't necessarily make him look good. And then for Toronto, $5,500 Gary Trent. I'm going to pull a minute from him so he doesn't look like the far and away best option because, he is Gary Trent. That is a thing. There we go. But still, Gary Trent is the best option on DraftKings. If Pascal Siakam didn't just have center eligibility, it would be better. It's insane that he only has center eligibility, particularly with the way that they've been running their rotations now. Power forward center, 9,900 on FanDuel. I actually like the dueling banjos of like Siakam and Randall on FanDuel, power forward center eligible in that high 9K thing. Yeah, Larry, I went down that rabbit hole this morning too. It caught my eye. Every sip of this coffee is like a bite of spinach for Popeye. Golden State Warriors, 2.5-point favorites in Washington, 232 total. For Golden State, we've got a doubtful tag on Klay Thompson. So did they play yesterday? Is that what I'm seeing? They did. Doubtful tag on Klay. He's not going to play today. He's just not going to play a back-to-back. We still don't have Kuminga yet. I'm going to assume that he is out. So I'm going to assume it's everything that's normal except for no Klay. At which point we'll go ahead and get Jordan Poole in for a couple extra minutes. Steph is back playing 34. So there's 32. I got Looney in for 24. I got Wiggins in for 30, which might be a bit too high. I don't know if he's ready for that yet. Iggy, I didn't play yesterday, so I guess he'll play today. So, we can get him 16 minutes. He can start getting loose, so to speak. We can bump up the Anthony Lamb minutes, get him to 22. I got Draymond in for 32. DiVincenzo probably sees a bit of a bump. We'll take him up to 26. Ty Jerome can get back up into the higher realm of minutes. Give him something like 16. And then we can throw a stray 8 onto Moses Moody. I don't think rates matter all that much other than this probably nerfs Jordan Poole. So I'm going to say games where Steph starts and Poole starts. They can't have too many of these games. Yeah, 7. Good enough. Steph and Jordan Poole have started alongside of each other for 7 games. They both have 29% usage rates. Oh, wow. Klay played one of those. Okay. I'm going to say in games where I'm going to get Wiggins on there too. And Klay. And I'm going to say in situations where at least two of those guys were on the floor. Yeah, I think that's going to... I think that's going to be okay. So we're going to gut those rates quickly. Draymond, obviously, not a usage guy, so we can lock him in at 13. Steph, we're going to put in there at 29.5. Looney, obviously not a usage guy. He's at 11. Jordan Poole, we're going to pop in for 27.5. DiVincenzo, not a usage guy. He's at like 13. And then Wiggins be at 22. 103 people in here now. That means if every single person that's listening to this show hits the like button, we can get to 100 likes. That seems like a really nice thing to do today. Maybe that's just me, but it seems like a really nice thing to do. Y'all tell me. All right, assist rates are all the same. Rebounding, there's no way that changes. Although Steph has been a much bigger rebounder this year. So that's going to be Golden State. I don't know what's going to be going on here with Washington, but I know I'm not going to like it. Okay, that's better. Monty Morris in. Is that Q tag on Beal real, or did they just play yesterday? No, that's a real Q tag on Bradley Beal. Okay. Man, feels like that's not real, but at the same time, if he's questionable, I got to project him in. So I think we get 28 minutes at the point for Monty Morris, 20 minutes at DeLon Wright backing him up. We get Daniel Gafford in for 24. Taj plays. Maybe Taj doesn't play because of Beal. We get Porzingis in for 32. I get Rui there for, say, 24 for now, and then we can figure that out as we go along. I get 34 for Kuz. I'm going to say that Beal steps back in and plays 30 minutes. He just sort of always does that. Corey Kispert probably plays a bit less, maybe just the other minutes that Beal doesn't play. And then we get Denny. I think Jordan Goodwin might be Dunzo in the rotation. So we got to give minutes to Denny and no one? It's just Denny, right? I'm not missing another real person. All right, so I'm going to get Kispert up to 20. I'm going to get Denny at 20. That leaves me 8 extra minutes that I am going to say go to Taj Gibson. Perfect. Easy. Unfortunately, I got to grab rates, and I know that I'm going to have to make this change again later today. I can already tell that Beal isn't going to play, and I'll just redo everything that I just did. So we're going to say games where Beal started, Porzingis started, and Kuzma started. That is really all I need to know. They are 9-12 in those games. Bradley Beal has a 26.5% usage rate in that time. S&P, good morning. Late to the game today. Daniel Gafford, no real usage rate. Porzingis, just under 26. Kuz at 26. Monty Morris, 14.5. Assist rates, I assume, actually matter here just because of Beal. Beal's at 7.5, and that holds. Porzingis isn't that guy in general. Kuzma, a little bit of a reduction. And then Monty Morris actually gets a little bit of a bump. Oh, wow. Okay. Practice on Sunday. S&P, appreciate that. I just feel like whenever I make wholesale changes to a rotation, I know that guy's going to not come back. All right, Beal rebounding, not so much. Gafford rebounding, not as much as you would think. Porzingis, just as much as you would think. Kyle Kuzma, good. Monty Morris, good. So Washington, pretty easy. The Wizards could look interesting here, depending on pricing, just because of Golden State being a pace-up spot. Nope, they don't. Wizards are terrible. Don't play them. If Bradley Beal is back, you don't play the Wizards on DraftKings. Maybe you play $8,600 Porzingis on FanDuel. But that doesn't look good at all. Gafford could be okay. For the Warriors, they look equally as garbagey. But $9,200 Steph on FanDuel, I think, is the only thing that I would prioritize. This game is bad. This game is really bad. Not good at all. One thing I do want to remind you guys, there's a link in the description of this video. If you have never signed up at Stokastic before, you can get 5 days free. And that will be of our NBA product. So projections, ownership, our boom bust tool, things that we talk about all the time on like the strategy show or the deeper dive. You get access to all those tools. You get access to our player compare tool. So you can do 1v1s and 2v2s. So anytime you just want to know, like, oh, would you rather have Kyle Kuzma or CJ McCollum today? Like, you can just pull it up, check that out in the player compare tool. And you can use our new lineup generator. Anywhere up to 20 lineups. It's perfect for the smaller entry field stuff. They've already, we create thousands and thousands and thousands of lineups, and we get rid of all the slop at the bottom. So we're only showing you lineups that we already think are good, but they're graded by projections, graded by ownership. You can swap guys around if you want to, but you'll also have access to that. So 5 days free if you're interested. All right, let's get to Miami. 1.5 point favorites in Atlanta, 223 total. We have, is everybody back for Miami? No Kyle Lowry. Hero is back. Caleb Martin is questionable. No Duncan Robinson, Jovic, or Yurtseven, but we know that. So I got to project Miami from scratch. That's just how we got to do this. No Gabe Vincent, no Kyle Lowry means we get Gabe Vincent. He's been playing 40 minutes a game. But if we're getting Hero back, I think that we can safely bring Gabe Vincent down to 36. We also, with Tyler Hero being off the injury report, I have no reason to suspect he's not going to play his 36. I will also happily give Jimmy Butler 33. Feels safe. I'm going to say that Caleb Martin is back and starting, even though he has missed now 5 straight games. But, he's like I'm going to say 28 minutes just because he's a 0.7 guy and it probably won't matter. Bam obviously can go right in for 34. We give Orlando Robinson the backup run. Gotta sneeze. Whew. That woke me up. So now the rest of this should be pretty simple. We're going to get Victor Oladipo in for something around 30 minutes. And then we don't really have all that much else to project. Haywood Highsmith, I guess, and nobody. Highsmith gets a chunk of time. Oh, I get Max Strus in there too. Now, Strus's minutes will come back down. I actually think Victor Oladipo's minutes probably come down a little bit now too. Let's get Victor Oladipo down to 28. We're going to get Strus in for 26, and then a very small amount to Haywood Highsmith. Feels about right. Gotta grab rates. Hero being back changes everything. So we're going to do Miami. The only shame here is that Lowry hasn't missed a ton of time. Thanks, guys. So we're going to say Kyle Lowry off. Games where, or we'll just say a scenario with Butler, Bam, Hero on, and we'll say greater, at least two of those guys on at the same time. Okay, that's enough playing time. So Bam's at 28% usage in that scenario. Hero's at 26. Butler is so oddly low. I don't ever understand it. Oh, it's so weird. Anyway, I'm going to give him... I don't... It shouldn't create a bump for him. I'm going to put him in for 26, and that's going to be fine. Caleb Martin, his usage rate won't matter at all. Gabe Vincent's usage rate won't matter at all. Jimmy Butler, I can't cut his usage rate. Heroes at 26 as well. I'm going to just treat these guys like they're themselves. I think that's the best mechanism here. And then Victor Oladipo, for some reason, isn't that guy either. There's a lot of usage to go around for this Miami team for reasons that don't make a ton of sense. Assist rate, I guess, is probably going to matter because of no Lowry. Heroes is already set. Butler's is already set. Bam's is even worse. And then rebounding. I know Hero's been rebounding a bit better this year. That's already handled. Bam, a little bit of a rebounding bump. Miami might end up looking okay today. I don't have a great feel for it. On the Atlanta side, Trae Young's back. Q tag on Capella. Is this a... Yeah, that's a real Q tag as well. So they could be at full strength. Makes it pretty easy to project here, though, because it just removes Kaminsky. And then we get Capella in. I'm going to assume he starts, plays 26 minutes. I'll give 22 to Onyeka Okongwu. There's no chance we're playing Okongwu if Capella is in. I got 35 minutes in for Trae. Got to make that 36. I got 37 minutes in for DeJounte Murray. Perfect. 31 for Bogdanovich is fine for me. 35 for DeAndre Hunter. Fine for me. 32 for John Collins. Gonna take a couple away there. I think that maybe I got to get back down to 31. And then I could take 2 away from Jalen Johnson. 9-man rotation, though. We know what they're doing here. Easy stuff. Wow, the reduced minutes. Really weird rotations from them on Saturday. Kickstart, good morning. I don't have any rates to change. It makes no difference to me if Capella is in or not when it comes to these guys. So for Atlanta, stop me if you've heard this before, but I like DeJounte Murray, 8,100 on DraftKings, 8,200 on FanDuel. Trae Young looks solid enough to me, 9,500 and 9,600. And then DeAndre Hunter's price on DraftKings just isn't correct. Like, he's a 0.75 guy. It's not fun. I mean, maybe it's more correct. It's just incorrect on FanDuel. That's probably the way to say it. DeAndre Hunter is $5,900 on FanDuel today and $1,200 cheaper on DraftKings. If you're going to play him anywhere, you're playing him on DraftKings. I also think that you could still play John Collins on DraftKings at $6K, but does give me a little bit of a worry. All right, 2 to go. This is the final game for the DraftKings slate. Utah Jazz, 2.5-point dogs in Minnesota, 230 total. On the Utah side, okay, they played Saturday. Q tag on Markkanen. Markkanen did not play on Saturday. Kelly Olynyk's still out. Colin Sexton is back. Rudy Gay questionable. He also did not play Saturday. So I guess I'm not actually making changes to this rotation. I am going to change Conley down to 29. And then I've got 23 for Sexton. I have 32 for Clarkson. I'm going to make that go up a notch to 33. We'll take another minute away from Akbaji in that scenario. 26 for Kessler. I'm okay with, I guess, which gives me 24 for Vanderbilt. I'm okay with that. 35 for Markkanen if he plays. I'm just going to make that be 34. I'm fine with Rudy Gay's minutes. I'm fine with Nickeil Alexander-Walker's minutes. I think we're good here for the Jazz, and I don't have any further changes to make. These are the rates that matter. Now, if Lauri Markkanen ends up out, this obviously changes dramatically. But for now, we have to assume he's in. On the Minnesota end, Q tag on Anthony Edwards, Q tag on Gobert, Q tag on Taurean Prince. I mean, this is miserable. There's also nothing that we can do right now. Clearly, if Gobert is out, Naz Reid becomes a thing. Clearly, if Anthony Edwards is out, even though he's questionable every game, like everybody else becomes a thing. But for now, Russell for 34 minutes, Edwards for 36 minutes, Kyle Anderson for 30, Jaden McDaniels for 30. Like, I don't have changes here. 33 for Gobert. I'll at least take that down a notch. Go 32-16. But, I mean, with 3 Q tags of main rotation pieces, we're not going to know anything here. So we just have to assume they're in. And they look fantastic against Utah. Obviously, we know Utah's defense is bad. We know what kind of pace this game will see. As per usual, I think Anthony Edwards looks fantastic. I guess I'm going to, maybe I haven't pulled rates in a little bit just to take a look. We're going to do games that Karl Anthony Towns did not play. And then games where Rudy Gobert, D'Angelo Russell, and Anthony Edwards all started. I just want to make sure I have Edwards' rates correct, because he just projects so well for me every time. 607 minutes, 17 games, 29% usage rate. I can legitimately increase his usage rate in this spot. Now, he's shooting 51% from 2. I have it slightly higher. He's shooting 37% from 3. That's exactly where I have it. So I have no changes that I can make there. Russell's at 24% usage. I'm more than okay with that. Everybody else isn't really going to have any usage rates. Oh, I think I did skip Miami. I think you're right there. For Miami, no major priorities. Vincent, Hero, Bam, and Butler all look pretty similar to me. I think it's easiest to get to Gabe Vincent, but he's clearly the worst per minute dude. So not a lot of priorities there coming back. Just because when Hero, Bam, and Butler are there, like they're all priced accordingly. I like Hero for 7,600 on FanDuel though. Does assist rate go down for Edwards? Oh, it goes up. Russell's actually has come down. I guess because they're probably using Kyle Anderson a bit more. Is he rebounding less? No, a little bit. A little bit. A little bit of a discount in there. But I love Minnesota. It's really, really hard not to. And on DraftKings, it's even more egregious. Like Taurean Prince is the flat 3K today. That's insane. Like he's not a great per minute guy, but it's just a value piece that you can get to today. Especially if we lose one guy, Taurean Prince is like the most popular guy on the slate. Russell looks really good to me, 6,700 and 6,500. I'm happy to get to Gobert if he's in, but he's starting to become like appropriately priced. Jaden McDaniels and Kyle Anderson are both playing enough minutes. Minnesota's very, very interesting on DK. Utah wasn't skipped. They were just not gotten to yet. And they look terrible. Assuming Markkanen is in, I don't mind going to Kessler on DK. And I don't mind going to Markkanen on FanDuel, where he's $1,100 cheaper. I don't want to go to anything from Utah. Ugly game for Utah. There are a couple like very clean cross-offs on the DraftKings side today. And then finally, Ramsey, good to see you. Good to see you. Phoenix Suns. This is the final game. FanDuel slate. This is not on the DraftKings slate. The Suns are 10-point dogs in Memphis. 226 total. Now, for Phoenix. No Paul, no Booker, no Cam Johnson, no Campaign. Now, Landry Shamet questionable matters. Shamet hasn't played the last 3 games, but he got the whole weekend off. Has not played since last Sunday. Assuming Shamet is back, I think he's starting at the point. So, I don't want to let him go into like crazy minutes. So I'm going to say that's 30 for Shamet. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see Saban Lee still be the backup point guard, but we'll find out if we need those minutes in a second. We'll go ahead and get DeAndre Ayton in for 31. I'll give Jock Landale the backup center run. Although I guess they split it again. Or did they just get their asses kicked on Friday? Which is what I assume. No, that's competitive. Ayton properly closed. They just went Landale for a bit, and then they played Biyombo to start the 4th. Weird. Don't know why. Worked, but don't know why. Let's go 6 to Biyombo, 11 to Jock Landale then, I guess. Then we get Dario Saric in for... Oh, shit. What are we going to do here? What happened to Saric's minutes in that game? They never brought him back out in the 4th. He was minus 18. It wasn't foul trouble. They were getting destroyed. They did come back. So he played 4.5. He played 12 minutes in the first half. That's 24. So I'm going to say 26 for Saric. No, that's not right. Because I don't necessarily know if he's going to go. I went the wrong direction there. So he played 12 minutes in the first half, which would be 18. Yeah, I'm going to go 22 for Saric. I think that feels a little bit safer. I think it's very easy to give Dwayne Washington 24 minutes and to not think about it again. Mikal Bridges is obviously going to play, 37 minutes like he normally does. Torrey Craig is going to play his 30 probably. We get Damian Lee in for, 25? Played the final 8 minutes of the third quarter and all of the fourth quarter to bring them pseudo back into that game. So he's sort of like the inverse of Saric here, where he played basically 10 minutes in the first half, but can close. So I'm going to give him 24. That leaves me 25 minutes. And that can go to Landale, Sabin Lee. Sorry, not Landale. Ish Wainwright, Sabin Lee, Josh Okogie. I don't think it's going to be Okogie. I think it's more likely to be Ish Wainwright or Sabin Lee, or a little bit of both. I'm going to say that Sabin Lee maintains a spot here. I think they're going to want somebody to run the offense. I'll go 12 there and 13 to Wainwright. Not like that matters. None of these guys are going to matter at all. And then I actually do have to grab rates because Landry Shamet ends up with like a 26% usage rate or something stupid. So when we say Paul off, Booker off, Payne off, it gets like really weird. 176 minutes for Landry Shamet this season, 25% usage rate. Like, I don't want to go that high, but I got to go high. Wayne Washington's at 32. DeAndre Ayton has played 127 minutes like that, 26% usage rate. Bridges, for some strange reason, like just doesn't really soak up more usage. I don't know how that's possible. Torrey Craig, I do know how that's possible. Now, does Shamet shoot differently? Not really. This Dwayne Washington, 38% from 2 for Dwayne Washington. That is piss poor. And then 39% from 3. Interesting. All right, assist rate. We also see Shamet then get a giant assist rate bump. Just crazy. As does Dwayne Washington. DeAndre Ayton, I'm sure, doesn't. No, he does not. Actually, kind of does, but limited sample. Does Bridges pass the ball more? Sure does. I mean, everybody does, because all 3 of the point guards are gone. Someone's got to do it. 7:30. Hit that like button if you haven't done it already. 133 people in this piece for right now. That's the end of Phoenix. We can now look at Memphis, who I assume is at full strength and is ready to beat the shit out of the Phoenix Suns. Q-tag on Ja Morant. Dylan Brooks is available. Q-tag on John Conchar. Have to assume we're getting everybody here. They're not on a back-to-back. We finally got Brandon Clark back. So, welcome back, Brandon Clark. I don't think I have any other changes that I want to make to this rotation. You know, I got Bane in for his 30. These guys just aren't playing huge minutes right now. I don't have to change any rates. So for Memphis, again, this is just on FanDuel. They look terrible. You're probably not going to the Memphis guys on FanDuel with any sort of regularity. For Phoenix, Bridges and Ayton would be my 2 preferred guys. Landry Shamet at 5,600, if he is in and starting at point guard, would be okay to get to. But for now, guys, we are done. 7 games up, 7 games down. We got what we needed here. So it's time to run some crunches. We want to find out optimals on FanDuel, optimals on DraftKings, power rankings across the board. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at it. But I would be remiss if I did not talk to you guys about BetMGM. You can see it on the screen right now. The link is in the description. You can get 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum. First bet insurance up to $1,000. So my recommendation is to put in as much as you possibly can for your first deposit and on your first bet. If it wins, the money's just in your account. It's like nothing was different. It's just yours and you move forward. If your first bet loses, you will get whatever your first bet back was in bonus bets. 2 free months of Stokastic as well. You got to be new to BetMGM. You got to be in a legal betting state. 21 plus, please. No kids around these parts. Please play responsibly. If you've got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, let's get the FanDuel projections in. I forgot we talked about Giannis. Interesting slate because Giannis is the only like ultra highly projected guy. So if there's enough value, it's going to be pretty easy to get to him. For me on FanDuel, optimal lineup: D'Angelo Russell, Andrew Nembhard. By the way, 303.83. This is the optimal by 0.01. Russell, Nembhard, Shamet, Mathurin, Anthony Edwards, Tyler Hero, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Mitchell Robinson. I kind of like this one here, where you drop down that 1/100th of a point. You swap out Nembhard for Vincent, Hero for RJ Barrett, and Jared Allen for Bam Adebayo. But I think the balance on this one is better. And you get another one right there at 303.71, all within 1/10 of a point of each other. Very blurry slate on FanDuel at the top, at least for optimal sake. What do we get if we're talking about power rankings? Remember, this is going to look so different on FanDuel and DraftKings because there's 2 extra games on FanDuel. All right, power rankings on the FanDuel end. Gabe Vincent is going to be in that number 1 spot. Starting point guard playing 30-something minutes. I get it. Anthony Edwards, Andrew Nembhard, D'Angelo Russell, Mitchell Robinson are the top 5. DeJounte Murray, Torrey Craig, RJ Barrett, Tyler Hero, and Mike Conley round out the bottom of the top 10. On the DraftKings end, again, this is going to look so very different with 2 less games. On the DK side, we have optimal 282.03. This is the optimal by 0.25. Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, RJ Barrett, Taurean Prince, Mitchell Robinson, D'Angelo Russell, Kyle Anderson, and Jared Allen. Obviously, it just feels safer to go to the lineup next to it, but at that point, you're grabbing Mobley and Garland and putting them in place of RJ Barrett and D'Angelo Russell. So different. Just a totally different vibe. Let me go ahead and wait. Is that Pornbot actually there or no? I see a Pornbot, but I don't see it in chat. Yep, there it is. Got it. Already hidden. Want to find love? Our AI will help. Alrighty. Power rankings on DraftKings before we get out of here. We have unsurprisingly, it's looking like it's going to be Anthony Edwards. I don't mind that at all. A fantastic spot against Utah. His Q tags have basically been fake as of late. Although Mitchell Robinson is knocking on the door here, I don't think he's going to have enough to get there. Anthony Edwards 1, Mitchell Robinson 2. Taurean Prince, if he plays, is 3 just because he's the flat 3K. And if he's playing 24 minutes, like, you can get there. Jared Allen 4, Kyle Anderson 5, RJ Barrett, D'Angelo Russell, DeAndre Hunter, DeJounte Murray, and Gary Trent round out the bottom of my top 10. Folks, we made it through day 1 once again. We are back. Closing out another Monday. Remember, today's slate's ridiculous. Lock is at 2:30 on FanDuel. 3 o'clock on DraftKings. Very different slate today for MLK. So Keep your eyes peeled for all the content. I'm going to have contenders videos out shortly. Strategy show will be myself and Adam at 10 o'clock. Then you get Greg and Adam for the deeper dive. And then myself and Eric for live before lock. Appreciate having you guys here. Thank you so much for joining me. You know where we are for the rest of the week, right here, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday, because this is the process.